Hey everyone, Captain Terry Nugent with Riptide Charters. So this is my little bay boat, and everyone knows I use a big open array radar on the big Contender, but I don't have room for it. But I felt like I needed something for those days when the fog sets in, west end of the canal, tide turns, and all of a sudden it's pea soup fog and there's 20 boats out there. So I put the new Quantum 2 Doppler radar on the little boat, and I gotta say, it's absolutely amazing. It works extremely well in tight quarters like this marina. I can actually ping the different boats in their slips. It has that much definition to it. It allows me to navigate really tight quarters, going through buoy fields, mooring fields, things like that. Keeps the ropes out of my propellers. Keeps me from obviously coming into contact with other boats, other boaters. It's a high definition radar. It doesn't have the same type of radio output that a standard radar does. So even though it's fairly close to my head, I don't have to worry about any health concerns. It puts out about the same type of power as a cell phone. But it'll reach out to about 24 miles. I like to keep it usually in the 1.5 mile range. With this little boat, I don't need to reach out too much more than that. You're in a mooring field. We're even picking up the kid in the kayak. Like, if that doesn't tell you how effective this thing is, you're picking up a single kayaker. You know, this is the kind of thing that used to always be problematic. You know, you're coming through a mooring field and you can see the ball, the boat, and the other ball. And then you can see the ball out behind it. So it really does a great job at this close order drill stuff. But yeah, I mean, like this sailboat, on my big radar, I wouldn't pick him up. He's just too close. Absolutely not. It's just way too tight. Let's see if we can go one more in, 1/4 mile. So it's actually picking up the buoy and the no wake sign side by side. And that little target right there is the rubber boat inbound. Like, look at that. 3 small targets, you know, they're almost touching that sign and it's still picking them up. MARPA is manual automated tracking. So I could put a little cursor on him and it would acquire his target. This has ARPA, which is automatic tracking. It will show him as a green target because he's going away. It'll show this boat as a red target because he's inbound. Doppler shows motion. That's why they use it on weather radar. So yeah, it's pretty wild. Like I said, I mean, look at this. It's picking up the 2 buoys, him, that's the skiff inbound. This is the red can. And then just beyond it, it's showing the no wake buoy. I mean, that is ridiculous separation for such small targets. I tried to make sure this boat was capable anywhere doing pretty much anything. I wanted to make sure that I had those type of capabilities. So instead of just the transom mount transducer where I have my side imaging and all that, I wanted real power to penetrate, and it's built into the unit. It has 2 transducers plugged into it now, but it has the all-in-one transom mount transducer. I can run all those different things. I can run my side vision, I can run my down vision, I can run my 3D. But if I need something that can penetrate, it's all in one unit. You know, I mean, it's not like I have a ton of room like on the Contender, where I can have a 6 black boxes and I can have multiple big screens. It's a very small footprint. Everything's waterproof. It gives great visibility in good, you know, in bright sunlight. The charting's amazing. I had the older unit. I had the ES 128, which same chassis, looks the same. But by going to Axiom, I picked up the newer software, the faster processors, and it's unbelievable how quick this thing runs between screens.
This is good.
With the old one, it would take a while for it to do different things. It populates really quickly. You know, especially with something like this, these high-res bathymetric charts, the old fishing chips. It's just a nice, smooth redraw. Now, it's seamless. It's just the same as your smartphone. I've got one of the brand new Mercury V6s that I just repowered with this year with the fly-by-wire controls. I have this unit hooked into that. So it gives me, we're in forward gear, speed over ground, battery voltage, engine temp, engine tilt. If some reason my gauges were to go bad, I can use this and I can get home and I can kind of change it up how everything looks. Yeah, it's really, really intuitive. Like I was showing you earlier, I'm the captain, obviously, things are set up for me. But if you wanted to take my boat out and you wanted to change things, you could plug in as a guest. You can make all the changes you want. If you're going to use the boat repeatedly, you can actually save it as your own profile. Put your name on it, and when you come out and use my boat, you can click on it, and you don't have to go through and change all the different screens. When I'm running my charts, I like to run them heads up, and I like a full offset. I want to see what's in front of me. I'm always going. I'm not really concerned with what's behind us. Same thing with my radar. When I'm running my radar, I'm running heads up, and I'm offset to the bottom of the screen. If I'm going to be anchored somewhere or I'm going to be drifting somewhere in the fog, I'll move it up to centered. When I'm traveling, I want to make sure that I have everything in front of me as I want it. A lot of people, they want north up on their charts. They want to be centered on their charts. So it's always tough to run through all those different settings. With this, you have your own profile. You log in under your profile and everything's the way you want it. Since we're navigating, we'll kick that over from the fishing chart. Now we have our traditional Navionics Platinum chip with the buoys and all that stuff. Nice. When we get over where we're going, we'll swap back over because depth contour on the Kingfish is going to be really important. And I like the 1 foot bathymetric charts a whole lot better. So what I did was try to take advantage of my electronics the best I can. The fish have been running basically in that like 15 to 20 foot zone. I set my minimum shallow depth color to 15. So now I have, instead of having it out to 20 and trying to figure out where I am, now I just need to be between the blue and the white. We're just sitting just off that blue edge, and what they're doing is the bait's riding the tide up in, and I think when it hits that shallow area, the fish are just running up along that edge and feeding on it. Let's say you're out on Billingsgate and you're trolling the 60 foot curve. You can change your minimum depth for the blue to 60 feet. So now anything deeper than that, and you can run that blue and white line. Matter of fact, Navionics' app right now has a multicolor function. You can have, let's say you're working a corridor. You're out in open water, but you're working 80 to 100 feet. Yeah. You can set everything over 100 to one color and everything under 80 to a different color, and you can track it. It's pretty wild, some of the new stuff. But this is just a basic function. You come in, go into my settings, and I look at depths, and I'll go down to show contours, deep water from. We'll go to 15 feet, and you can see when I back out, we're right on that edge. So as long as we stay kind of right on that edge, we're good to go. The drop here is pretty pronounced, so 10 works really well, 15 works as well, but we're kind of on both sides of it with 15. With 10, you're always going to be just into the deeper water. Yeah. I'll change that throughout the entire season. Depths.
That's a great feature.
There we go. And it's just that simple to change.
Especially, you don't want to be squinting at the chart when you're trying to figure out if you're on the right.
Exactly.
Or too zoomed in.
So now when it comes up, we'll zoom in like that. So now I know I always want to be in the white. At 15, I'm on both sides of it. This right here just gives me a little cleaner picture to know where I want to keep the boat, where I want to stay set up. There's a kind of a shoal out here, and we noticed that the fish would pop up kind of out in space, and we didn't quite understand why. When I set the depth to that and I looked at the chart, I realized that what appeared to be just out in space was actually the 15 to 20 foot drop coming off the shoal perpendicular to the shoreline. So just by looking at the chart with that coloring on it, it made a lot more sense, helped us kind of dial in where we wanted to fish. When they left here and they're kind of working their circuit, we knew right where to go, because I'm looking at the depth chart and I'm going, okay, 15 to 20 feet, I'm gonna work that in this whole area. And we've picked them up, in multiple areas on the south side of the Cape, even up in Buzzards Bay. And it's always been on that kind of 15 to 20 foot contour. By setting my depths on the chart plotter, when I go to a new place, it lets me figure out where I want to fish in a completely new spot very quickly. I can look at it and go, okay, I want to fish here, 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 and here, and just bang out those 3 or 4 spots. And if we don't produce, we move to another place, rather than kind of hunting, like you said, and squinting at the chart and seeing what's that depth. And it's just a nice, simple feature that most people never even think to take advantage of.